Well, I think Chairman Comer did a magnificent job exonerating Joe Biden of all the fraudulent charges that were raised against him in this Congress. And of course, there was no high crime, no misdemeanor. And Joe Biden is a passionate public servant filled with integrity and honesty.
Nobody's buying what he's selling on that.
America's buying it. The reservoir of love for Joe Biden is deep and really bottomless in America.
You do disagree on a lot of things, as we can point out.
Jamie Raskin and James Comer really could have their own sitcom.
Our colleagues have no problem using those agencies to get the things done they want to do. If you read their Project 2025, they want the President of the United States to be able to use the Department of Justice for the first time in American history to go after his political opponents. And to oh, well, if you disagree with that, then I'm delighted to hear it, Mr. Chairman.
Which Department of Justice going after political opponents? The Merrick Garland Department of Justice or the
Well, let's
next
see.
Department?
There's a case right now against the Democratic senator from New Jersey, Mr. Menendez. There's a case right now against a Democratic congressman from Texas.
I see a pattern with Democrats.
And well, wait a second. No, don't be too clever. You're a smart man, but try to follow a principled argument. You just claimed that the Department of Justice was somehow biased against Republicans. And I'm naming you cases where the DOJ is going after Democrats. Your problem is the jury system in New York, which found unanimously that Donald Trump was guilty of 34 criminal felonies. That's got nothing to do with the Department of Justice.
Well, when the Department of Justice sends the number 3 guy down there to prosecute the case on behalf of the...
Which case are you referring to?
The Trump case that you just referred to.
You're talking about the District Attorney Bragg's case in New York?
The number 3 guy went down to New York.
All right. Well, we'll have to take that up at another point. But I'm talking to you about what former President Trump says he wants to do. And if you think it's outrageous, then I am delighted to hear it that he would use the Department of Justice.
No, I just thought it was outrageous. You saying the Department of Justice under Trump was going to be weaponized when we believe that this Department of Justice has been pretty darn weaponized.
Well, what is the proof of that? I just named you 3 cases where the Department of Justice is going after Democrats. And, I mean, that's a very serious slur against the Department of Justice and the Attorney General.
I stand by that.
You stand by your slur then. Well, I would love us to have a complete hearing then on whether or not it's true, because I think it's wrong. And in fact, really, it's just setting the stage for Donald Trump to try to use the Department of Justice as an instrument of persecution against his political opponents, real or imagined.
Well, we don't know if Donald Trump's going to be president or not. Are you throwing in the towel, Mr. Raskin?
No. I certainly hope he doesn't try to steal the election the way he did last time. I don't know
what
who you're
business
talking
were
about.
they in?
Well, what business is the Comers in? You're talking about lots of people. There's lots of people in the family.
I'm a farmer. I have land.
Your impeachment investigation must identify a high crime and misdemeanor.
What did they do?
I'll tell you what Joe Biden did. He was a senator of the United States. Then he wrote a book, and he said he made the most money he ever made in his life, millions of dollars on his book, and he gave $1 million away to charity.
That's what his family did. That's why Ukraine, Kazakhstan, Romania, China, Russia, that's why they paid the Biden family money, because of Joe Biden.
None of those governments paid anyone any money.
Somebody needs therapy here, but it's nobody on our side of the aisle, okay?
Because enough.
No, honestly,
back to the China
you
hearing.
had your chance. I would like my time restored.
No, your time was expired.
You interrupted me. I want my time restored.
You had your time. You went above, and I'll let Ms. Thornton go a minute.
You know what?
Here, sit down, everybody. Come back. This is about China. We asked a simple question. No, Ms. Presley, you're out of order. Sit down.
Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman.
No.
Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Speaker, I'm pretty sure we haven't had a carjacking in my congressional district in several years. If someone thought about carjacking a vehicle in my district, probably wouldn't end well for them.
If you Google carjacking in Kentucky, what will come up is just a few months ago, 2 people were carjacked in different incidents at gunpoint in Louisville, which I think is in the state of Kentucky. And since we're talking about state laws, that's what should be relevant. So carjacking is obviously a problem across the country.
Another point that I need to make, and I want to thank Mr. Connolly for his indulgence here, our good friend, the gentlelady from Georgia, referred to the murder of Ashley Babbitt. Well, the Department of Justice, the United States Attorney, and the U.S. Capitol Police Inspector General all rejected the idea that there was any
Point
murder.
of order, Mr. Chairman. Or inquiry. There's no such thing.
There's never been a court hearing.
Mr. Chairman, we agreed.
Michael Byrd was
hold
never
on.
charged.
Reclaiming order here. The time is Mr. Conley's. I yield back to Mr. Conley. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
But I will submit for the record a document entitled Department of Justice Closes Investigation into the Death of Ashley Babbitt, United States Capitol Police. Document USCP completes internal investigation into the January 6th officer-involved shooting. I think it was a scandal. It was a tragedy that people died because Donald Trump put them at risk, as many of the former insurrectionists are now willing to say publicly that he said you got to go and you got to fight and fight like hell, or you will not have
time's expired,
anymore.
Mr. Conley.
So,
Time's expired.
I'm sorry
Mr.
that
Conley's
people lost
time
their
is
lives.
expired. Mr. Conley's time is expired. Order.
I was trying to reclaim the time the gentlelady stole.
Now the Republican flail is transitioning from Joe Biden to Kamala Harris. They're doing their best. They're really not doing a good job whatsoever. In fact, they're still talking about Joe Biden. They're still trying to keep the attention on him. But it's like, who cares? Because, you're not running against him anymore. You got Donald Trump, who's cowering and backing out of debate, saying that, well, the Democrats may still go with somebody else. But it's clear that that's not going to happen. In fact, this morning, Kamala Harris was endorsed by the Obamas, and she's got her hat in the ring full force. She's raised over $250 million. It's a wrap. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to her being the candidate, she's the candidate. And all the Republicans have is the DEI attacks. Oh, she's not really supposed to be there. She didn't earn her place. You got Donald Trump going around the country saying that Kamala Harris couldn't pass her bar exam, even though she was the Attorney General of California. I don't really know how those two things equate. Perhaps nobody checked her resume, but this is where we're at.